Massive anti-government protests have erupted across Turkey, marking the largest demonstrations in years and underscoring widespread discontent with President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, who has led the country for over 2 decades. In an effort to quell the unrest, authorities have intensified crackdowns, but thousands of protesters continue to gather in Istanbul, defying restrictions. The protests were ignited by the recent arrest of Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu, a prominent opposition figure, on corruption charges. His detention last week sparked outrage, leading to mass demonstrations and the arrests of over 1,000 individuals, including left-wing politicians, lawyers, and journalists in pre-dawn raids. Opposition leaders warn that Turkey stands at a crucial crossroads between democracy and authoritarianism. For the 6th consecutive night, protesters filled the streets of Istanbul, openly challenging the government's ban on demonstrations. Supporters of İmamoğlu, chanting "President Ekrem," have been calling for his immediate release and pushing for him to become Turkey's next leader. From behind bars, İmamoğlu addressed his followers, urging them to remain peaceful while reaffirming his commitment to their cause. "We will succeed together, and I will continue to watch over you," here and in public squares across the nation. However, many demonstrators fear the consequences of speaking out. A 24-year-old protester named Berkan expressed concerns over government retaliation. "If I speak up, I know they could take me from my home tomorrow morning, just as they have done to students in Ankara, Eskişehir, and Izmir. We are simply exercising our right to protest and defend democracy. Yet every day, people are arrested for merely raising their voices." As tensions escalate, Turkish security forces have intensified arrests. Over 1,000 individuals have been detained in the past 5 days. Meanwhile, footage of İmamoğlu's arrest shows him maintaining composure even as police stood outside his residence. In a message to the public, he declared his faith in the nation and vowed not to succumb to tyranny. The Turkish government insists that the judiciary operates independently, despite growing accusations of political interference. President Erdoğan has dismissed the protests as harmful to the nation, accusing the opposition of disrupting public order. He remains confident that the demonstrations will eventually subside. However, a surprising statement from the opposition announced that the upcoming rally at City Hall would be the last, leaving many uncertain about the next course of action. Turkey now faces a pivotal moment. Will it uphold democratic principles, or is it drifting toward authoritarian rule? International reactions to the protests have been relatively subdued. While the European Union has urged Turkey to uphold democratic values and countries like France and Germany have issued mild criticisms, the strongest condemnations have come from human rights organizations. Human Rights Watch described İmamoğlu's arrest as yet another example of Turkey's judiciary being weaponized to suppress political dissent, calling it a dark day for democracy. Despite the growing unrest, Erdoğan continues to consolidate power. Under his leadership, press freedoms have been severely curtailed, with around 90% of national media under government control. Turkey ranks among the lowest on global press freedom indices, and recent events have intensified censorship. Social media platforms such as Instagram, WhatsApp, and YouTube have faced restrictions, while Elon Musk's platform X, formerly Twitter, has complied with court orders to block hundreds of accounts belonging to journalists, political figures, and activists critical of the government. With international focus diverted by global political crises, Erdoğan has faced little external pressure. As Turkey grapples with these defining moments, the fate of its democratic institutions remains uncertain. Meanwhile, İmamoğlu, widely considered Erdoğan's strongest political rival, remains imprisoned, able only to communicate through his social media accounts, leaving the opposition in a precarious position as the country's political landscape continues to shift.